Imagine the scene, a tour bus hurtling down a dark road, filled with a heavy metal band. Suddenly it collides with another bus. This wasn't just any bus, it was a bus full of nuns. This sounds like the start of a bad joke, but for Iron Maiden it became part of a strange and persistent legend. This story, which we will explore later, was just one piece of the controversy surrounding their album. It was a moment that cemented their reputation as rock's most notorious and perhaps misunderstood rebels. For many, this was their introduction to a band that would define a genre and capture the imagination of millions across the globe for decades. This tale of nuns and numbers is a perfect entry point into the wild world of Iron Maiden. They are a band that has always courted drama, whether intentionally or not. Their music is loud, their lyrics are epic, and their imagery is often shocking. But behind the screaming guitars and the ghoulish mascot lies a story of incredible perseverance and artistic integrity. From the smoky pubs of London's East End to sold-out stadiums across the planet, Iron Maiden's journey is a masterclass in how to build a lasting legacy in the fickle world of music, staying true to a vision that was forged in the fires of the new wave of British heavy metal. This essay will take you on a journey through the band's entire saga. We will look at their humble beginnings and the line-up changes that shaped their sound. We will chart their rise to global superstardom and explore how their musical style evolved from raw, aggressive metal into complex, progressive masterpieces. We will also delve into the controversies that followed them, from accusations of Satanism to legal battles over their most beloved songs. It is a story filled with high drama, incredible music, and a level of dedication that few bands ever achieve, making them more than just a band. They are a cultural institution. So, buckle up and prepare to run to the hills. We are about to dive deep into the history of Iron Maiden, a band that has never compromised and has always delivered. We will explore the gear that creates their signature sound, the evolution of their iconic mascot, Eddie, and their surprising relevance in today's digital streaming world. By the end, you will understand why, after nearly 5 decades, Iron Maiden still commands the loyalty of a global army of fans, and why their legacy is permanently etched into the very fabric of rock and roll history. Up the irons. Iron Maiden was born on Christmas Day, 1975. The band was the brainchild of a young, ambitious bassist named Steve Harris. He had just left his previous band, Smiler, because they were not interested in playing his more complex original songs. Determined to see his musical vision come to life, Harris formed his own group. He chose the name Iron Maiden, inspired by the medieval torture device he had seen in the film. This name perfectly captured the blend of historical drama and raw aggression that would come to define the band's music and image for years to come. The early lineup of Iron Maiden was a revolving door of musicians. Finding the right chemistry was a difficult process. Harris was the clear leader, the main songwriter, and the driving force. The band slogged it out in the pubs and clubs of London's East End, slowly building a devoted local following. Their sound was different from the punk rock that was dominating the scene at the time. It was faster, more melodic, and had a raw energy that was undeniably metal. This period was crucial for honing their craft and establishing the powerful, galloping bass lines from Harris that would become a trademark of their sound. A key moment came when the band recorded a demo tape at Spacewood Studios in Cambridge. Desperate for gigs and a record deal, they gave a copy to a DJ named Neil Kay, who ran a heavy metal club called the Bandwagon Soundhouse. Kay loved the tape and played their song Prowler relentlessly. It shot to #1 on his club's charts, creating a huge buzz. This grassroots support led to them releasing the demo as their own EP. The initial 5,000 copies sold out almost instantly, proving that there was a real audience hungry for what Iron Maiden had to offer. This early success finally caught the attention of the major record labels. After a fierce bidding war, Iron Maiden signed with EMI Records in late 1979. By this point, the classic early lineup was taking shape, featuring Steve Harris on bass, Dave Murray on guitar, Paul Di'Anno on vocals, and Clive Burr on drums. They would soon add a second guitarist, Dennis Stratton, to complete the sound. The stage was now set. With a major label behind them and a rapidly growing fan base, Iron Maiden was poised to take their unique brand of British heavy metal from the pubs of London to the arenas of the world. The arrival of vocalist Bruce Dickinson in 1981 marked the single most important turning point in Iron Maiden's career. While original singer Paul Di'Anno had a raw, punk-infused snarl that suited their early material, Dickinson brought something entirely new. He possessed a powerful operatic vocal range and a commanding stage presence that fans nicknamed the Air Raid Siren. He was the final piece of the puzzle. His voice was perfectly suited to the epic, complex, and ambitious music that Steve Harris wanted to write. The band's potential suddenly seemed limitless, setting the stage for their golden age. This new era began with the 1982 album. It was a monumental success, hitting #1 in the UK charts and breaking the band in America. However, it was also steeped in controversy, which only fueled their fame. The follow-up albums in 1983 and in 1984 solidified their status as the biggest heavy metal band in the world. This period saw them embark on the legendary World Slavery Tour, an astonishingly ambitious trek that took them to 28 countries for 187 shows over 13 months. It was a grueling schedule that cemented their reputation as a formidable live act, but also pushed them to the brink of exhaustion. The late 80s saw the band experiment with their sound. The albums in 1986 and in 1988 incorporated synthesizers, creating a more polished and progressive feel. While some purists were initially skeptical, these albums are now regarded as classics, showcasing the band's willingness to evolve and push creative boundaries. However, the relentless cycle of album-tour album was taking its toll. In 1990, guitarist Adrian Smith left the band, and in 1993, Bruce Dickinson also departed to pursue a solo career, marking the end of an era. The 1990s were a challenging period for Iron Maiden. With Blaze Bayley on vocals, they released 2 albums, which received a mixed reception from fans and critics. The music was darker and more experimental, and many felt Bayley's voice wasn't the right fit. The turning point came in 1999, with the shocking announcement that both Bruce Dickinson and Adrian Smith were rejoining the band. This created a powerhouse 3-guitar lineup with Smith, Dave Murray, and Janet Gers. Their comeback album in 2000 was a triumphant return to form, heralding a new golden age that has continued to this day. The 21st century has seen a revitalized Iron Maiden release a series of critically and commercially successful albums. In 2000 was a stunning comeback. Subsequent releases, like in 2006, in 2010, and the double album in 2015, have seen them lean heavily into their progressive rock influences with long, complex songs and intricate arrangements. Their most recent album in 2021 continued this trend, proving that even after more than 4 decades, Iron Maiden's creative well is far from dry, and they remain as ambitious as ever. The signature sound of Iron Maiden is honestly one of the most recognizable in all of rock music. At its core, it's built upon the foundation of Steve Harris's unique bass playing. Unlike most bassists who simply hold down the low end, Harris plays his instrument like a lead guitar. His fast, galloping rhythms, played with his fingers rather than a pick, create a thunderous, driving pulse that's really the engine of the band. This distinctive bass style, combined with the twin lead guitar harmonies of Dave Murray and Adrian Smith, created a sound that was both powerful and incredibly melodic, setting them apart from their peers. In their early days, the Maiden sound was, well, a potent cocktail of hard rock heavy metal and a dash of punk aggression. The songs were relatively short, fast and direct. Tracks from their first two albums have this raw, street-level energy that really reflects their origins in the London club scene. This early style was a key component of the new wave of British heavy metal, a movement that stripped away the blues-based bloat of 1970s rock and injected it with a new level of speed and intensity. It was music built for headbanging, pure and simple, and it resonated with a new generation of rock fans. As the band's career progressed, so did their musical ambition. Beginning with albums like And Accelerating Through an E, their songs became longer and more structurally complex. This is where their progressive rock influences, particularly from bands like Genesis and Jethro Tull, began to shine through. They started experimenting with shifting dynamics, changes in tempo, and intricate instrumental sections. This evolution was a natural fit for their lyrical themes, which often dealt with history, literature, and epic mythology, demanding a grander musical canvas. This progressive tendency has become even more pronounced in their 21st century output. Many of their modern songs, eschew traditional verse-chorus structures in favor of through-composed epics that can stretch past the 10-minute mark. A key feature of this later style is their use of odd time signatures. While most rock music is in a standard 4/4 time, Maiden often weaves in sections with unusual timings like 7/8 or 11/8. This creates a disorienting, complex feel that challenges the listener and adds a layer of musical sophistication. It's this constant evolution that has kept their music interesting and vital for over 4 decades. In an era dominated by pop stars and fleeting social media trends, a vital question arises. Is a heavy metal band from the 1970s still popular? For Iron Maiden, the answer is a resounding yes. They have not just survived the digital age, they've really thrived in it. One of the clearest indicators of their enduring relevance can be found on streaming platforms. As of early 2026, Iron Maiden boasts an impressive monthly listenership on Spotify, consistently hovering around the 10 million mark. This figure places them in the same league as many contemporary artists, proving that their music continues to find a new audience. Their most popular tracks on the platform are a testament to the timeless appeal of their classic era. Songs like The Trooper, Run to the Hills, and Fear of the Dark each have hundreds of millions of streams. The Trooper, for instance, has sailed past the 500 million stream milestone, which is, honestly, an incredible achievement for a heavy metal song released in 1983. This demonstrates that their appeal is not just confined to a nostalgic older fan base. Younger generations discovering music through playlists and algorithms are clearly being captivated by the energy and melody of Maiden's greatest hits, ensuring the flame continues to burn brightly. The band's presence on YouTube is equally formidable. Their official channel is a treasure trove of music videos, live performances, and behind-the-scenes content, with millions of subscribers and billions of total views. The official video for Wasted Years, with its montage of tour footage, has been viewed over 100 million times, while the iconic video for Run to the Hills is not far behind. These numbers are not just statistics. They represent a global community of fans actively engaging with the band's legacy and their new material, sharing it with friends and keeping the conversation alive online. Perhaps the most compelling evidence of their continued popularity is their ability to sell out stadiums and arenas across the globe. Their tours are major events, drawing massive multi-generational crowds. It's not uncommon to see grandparents, parents, and their children all wearing Maiden t-shirts and singing along to every word. This cross-generational appeal is the band's secret weapon. They've cultivated a level of loyalty that really transcends trends. They are more than a band. They're a tradition passed down, and in the digital age of 2026, that tradition is stronger than ever. The iconic dual guitar harmony is the sonic signature of Iron Maiden, and the specific equipment they use is crucial to that sound. For decades, the band's guitarists have been famously loyal to a select few instruments and amplifiers, creating a consistent and recognizable tone. Dave Murray is almost exclusively associated with his Fender Stratocaster guitars. His most famous axe is a 1957 Stratocaster that was previously owned by the late, great free guitarist Paul Kossoff. This guitar, with its distinctive black finish and maple neck, has been his primary instrument for most of his career, really defining his smooth, fluid lead style. Adrian Smith, the other half of the original classic guitar duo, has a more varied taste, but is most often seen with a Jackson or a Gibson. His white Gibson Les Paul Custom from the 1970s is an iconic part of his look from the era. In more recent years, he has favoured his signature Jackson Adrian Smith SDX models. These guitars are built for speed and precision, reflecting his more technical and melodic playing style. The interplay between Smith's Jackson and Murray's Stratocaster is the foundation upon which countless Maiden guitar solos have been built, a perfect blend of aggression and melody. Janik Gers, who joined the band in 1990, is known for his incredibly energetic stage presence, which includes twirling and throwing his guitar around. For this reason, he needs durable and reliable instruments. Like Dave Murray, he is a devoted Fender Stratocaster player. He uses several different models, often with a more stripped-down and functional appearance. His aggressive, raw playing style adds a different texture to the three-guitar lineup, providing a fiery counterpoint to the more polished styles of Murray and Smith, creating a dense wall of sound during live performances. Of course, the guitars are only one part of the equation. The amplification is just as important. For their entire career, Iron Maiden has been almost exclusively powered by Marshall amplifiers. The classic sound of a guitar plugged into a roaring Marshall stack is the sound of rock and roll, and Maiden are honestly masters of it. They typically use Marshall JMP1 preamps and 9200 power amps. This combination provides the high-gain, harmonically rich distortion that's perfect for their galloping riffs and soaring leads. This simple, powerful setup of Fender and Jackson guitars into Marshall amps is the unchanging formula for the sound of the beast. Long before the band even had a record deal, they had Eddie, or at least the beginnings of him. Originally, Eddie the Head was just a theatrical prop, a large papier-mâché mask that loomed over the band's drum kit during their early pub gigs. It was connected to a system that would spurt out fake blood and smoke at the climax of their set. The band's manager, Rod Smallwood, decided they needed a proper image for their debut album cover. He was introduced to an artist named Derek Riggs, who had a strange painting he had been working on titled Electric Matthew Says Hello. The painting depicted a gaunt, punk-like figure with wild hair illuminated by a street lamp. The band loved it, but they asked Riggs to add more hair to make it less punk and more metal. This creature became the first official depiction of Eddie on the cover of their self-titled debut album in 1980. From that moment on, Eddie was no longer just a prop. He was the band's official mascot. Riggs would go on to design every single album and single cover for the band throughout the 1980s and into the early 1990s, creating a stunningly consistent and evolving visual universe for the band. Eddie's artistic evolution has mirrored the band's musical journey. For Killers, he was an axe-wielding maniac. For The Number of the Beast, he was a puppet master controlling the devil. On Peace of Mind, he was a lobotomized mental patient in a straitjacket. For Power Slave, he became a giant stone pharaoh, and on Somewhere in Time, he was transformed into a futuristic cyborg bounty hunter. Each new album brought a new incarnation of Eddie, always recognizable but constantly changing, reflecting the themes of the music and keeping the band's imagery fresh and exciting for fans. This iconic character has been a merchandising phenomenon. Eddie's image is instantly recognizable and has been plastered on millions of t-shirts, posters, patches, and countless other items. For many fans, buying an Iron Maiden t-shirt with a spectacular Eddie design is a rite of passage. This has provided the band with a massive and consistent revenue stream that is independent of album sales or tour tickets. In a very real way, Eddie is the seventh member of the band, a silent partner whose ghoulish grin has become one of the most enduring and profitable images in the history of music. When Iron Maiden released The Number of the Beast in 1982, they had no idea it would ignite a firestorm of controversy, particularly in the United States. The album's title and its dramatic cover art, depicting Eddie controlling the devil like a puppet, was seen as an endorsement of Satanism by religious groups and the conservative media. The band suddenly found themselves at the center of a moral panic. Their records were publicly burned, their concerts were picketed by protesters handing out leaflets, and they were branded as corrupters of youth. It was a level of infamy they had never anticipated. The inspiration for the title track was far more innocent than the accusations suggested. Steve Harris has explained countless times that he got the idea after watching the horror film Damien Omen 2. The film, which deals with the Antichrist, gave him a nightmare. He woke up with the opening lines of the song, which are a quote from the Book of Revelation, already in his head. The song is not about worshipping the devil. It is a story about a person who witnesses a dark, satanic ritual and is terrified by it. It is a piece of horror-themed storytelling, not a declaration of faith. The controversy spawned a host of bizarre rumors, the most famous of which was the busful of Nuns story. As the legend goes, during the recording sessions for the album, producer Martin Birch was involved in a minor car accident. The total cost of the repairs came to exactly £666. To make things even stranger, the story sometimes includes the detail that the other vehicle involved in the crash was a minibus carrying a group of nuns. The band has always treated this story with amusement, acknowledging the strange coincidence of the repair bill, but generally dismissing the more theatrical elements as tour folklore that got out of hand. Ultimately, the band's response to the controversy was one of bemusement and defiance. They knew their intentions were artistic, not demonic. Bruce Dickinson, in particular, often mocked the accusations on stage. In a strange way, the controversy was the best publicity they could have ever asked for. It made them sound dangerous and rebellious, which only increased their appeal to young rock fans. The moral panic backfired spectacularly, helping to propel The Number of the Beast up the charts and making Iron Maiden one of the most famous bands on the planet. Hallowed. Be Thy Name is more than just a song to Iron Maiden fans. For many, it is the quintessential Maiden anthem. A 7-minute epic from The Number of the Beast, it tells the story of a man on the morning of his execution, contemplating his life and his mortality. With its dramatic tempo changes, soaring vocals, and iconic guitar riff, it has been a fixture of the band's live shows for decades and is consistently voted as their greatest song. However, in 2017, this beloved classic suddenly and mysteriously disappeared from the band's setlist, causing widespread confusion and concern among their fan base. The reason for its removal was a legal dispute over plagiarism. A man named Barry McKay, representing the estate of a musician named Brian Quinn, filed a lawsuit against Steve Harris and Dave Murray. The lawsuit claimed that a significant portion of the lyrics to Hallowed Be Thy Name were taken from a song called Life's Shadow, which Quinn wrote in the early 1970s. The song had been performed by the band Beckett, who were managed for a time by Rod Smallwood before he went on to manage Iron Maiden. The claim was that Harris and Murray had been exposed to the song in the 1970s and had lifted lyrics from it. The specific lyrics in question were a 6-line passage from Life's Shadow. Mark my words, my soul lives on. Please don't worry now that I have gone. I've gone beyond to see the truth, while I consider my past youth. This is strikingly similar to a section in Hallowed Be Thy Name. Iron Maiden's legal team argued that Steve Harris had indeed written a song called Life's Shadow in his pre-Maiden days, but that he was the sole author. However, the case was complex. Another song on the Maiden B-side, The Nomad, was also implicated, with claims it used music from the same Beckett song. Faced with mounting legal costs and the risk of a lengthy court battle, the band chose to settle the dispute out of court in 2018 for an undisclosed sum. While they did not admit guilt, the settlement effectively resolved the claim. As a precaution, Hallowed Be Thy Name was temporarily removed from their live performances during the legal proceedings. Thankfully for fans, once the matter was settled, the song was promptly restored to its rightful place in the setlist. The controversy serves as a complicated footnote on one of metal's most celebrated songs, a reminder that even for rock legends, legal troubles can cast a shadow over their art. From the pubs of the East End to the stadiums of the world, Iron Maiden's story is one of unwavering dedication. They are a band that has faced down lineup changes, moral panics, and legal battles, only to emerge stronger each time. Their journey from the new wave of British heavy metal to their current status as progressive metal titans is a testament to their artistic courage. They built a global empire not by chasing trends, but by creating their own universe, complete with a ghoulish mascot and a sound that is instantly recognizable from the first galloping bass note. Their legacy is not just in the millions of albums sold or the sold-out tours. It is in the community they have built. They have created a tribe, a global army of fans who pass their love for the band down through generations. The fact that they are still topping charts with new albums and gaining millions of streams from new listeners in 2026 is proof that true quality is timeless. Iron Maiden did not just write songs. They wrote the soundtrack to countless lives, and that is a power that never fades. Their influence on the genre is immeasurable. The story of Iron Maiden is a deep well of inspiration, from their complex musical arrangements to the iconic gear they use to create their sound. There is always more to learn, more to analyze, and more to appreciate about this legendary band. Their history is intertwined with the history of heavy metal itself, and exploring their music is like taking a journey through the evolution of the entire genre. The tales of Eddie, the controversies, and the incredible musicianship all combine to create one of the most compelling sagas in rock history. We hope you have enjoyed this deep dive into the world of Iron Maiden. Their story is a powerful reminder of what can be achieved with a clear vision and a refusal to compromise. If you love music, history, and incredible guitar playing, then you are in the right place. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more stories about the artists and the gear that shape the music we love. Let us know your favorite Iron Maiden song in the comments below. Until next time, up the irons.